I have children and I have grandchildren, and they're going to have to. And then I look at all the other kids and grandkids, and that's what drives me on. I'm coming up to my 73rd birthday. You know, I could be retired and walked away. I don't have to take this shit and this abuse, but I take it and I do it despite it, because I can see the kind of world that my kids and grandkids and other people's kids and grandkids are going to have to live in, and not just them too, but the vast majority of people that are still alive today are going to have to experience that world, and I don't want it to happen. I could walk away and leave them to it. I mean, how long have I got? 5 minutes or 10 years? I don't know. We'll see. But I could walk away now. I don't have to take this. I do, because I don't want people to live in a world that I know is coming unless we wake up fast to the greater picture and break out of this myopia that we've been manipulated into.
On behalf of the entire world and people who keep on searching for knowledge, searching for information, thank you, David Icke. Thank you for your great work. And as what he said, people, you don't have to be doing this. You don't. But seeing how dark this world is already are, it only makes sense. He keep on doing it with his last laps on this hurt, people. He keep on pushing, keep on doing it. Cause like, who else can people who seeking knowledge, seeking information, people with deeper thoughts, who else can we listen to? Who else makes sense, people? Who else we can listen to without getting cringe and said, what this guy is on? So thank you, David Icke. Thank you, brother.
1990s. You had the whole phenomenon of the plan not admitted of the North American Union, the fusion of America with Canada and Mexico. And if you look at maps that were put out by the Club of Rome, which is an organization started in 1968 specifically to exploit and create environmental concerns to justify centralization of power. They put out a map where they were breaking the world up into regions. And the map for North America was America and Canada plus Greenland. And the people we now call MAGA and the so-called alternative media been hijacked. The previous alternative media, including Alex Jones, was calling this out and saying how bad it was. Now they're okay with it because Trump's saying it. This is the scale of the psychological transformation that's gone on, and unless people start to see that they're being taken to the edge of the same cliff just by a different route and with different rhetoric, then we'll end up at the edge of the cliff and over it. I mean, because
let's talk about Alex Jones real quick, because I was going to bring him up, and now that you've given me this little bit of extra time, I like I said, Alex has had me on the show. I've even hosted the morning show, so I got mad love for the guy. But at a certain point, if I was even paying Alex Jones, if I was Elon Musk and I was paying Alex, I'd be like, hey, could you lower down the worship just a little bit, because it's kind of getting a little bit much. It's like it's too much. And what do you think is happening? Is it possible that he's almost got Stockholm syndrome and he just wants to believe he's winning? Is it possible that all of this lawfare has put him in such a bad place that he desperately needs to believe he's winning? Do you think he's been paid off, or what? Just say so. I'm going to clip this later if you don't mind. What would you say to Alex Jones right now? And would you go back on and just talk to Alex Jones right now?
Well, I will eventually talk to Alex, and I'll eventually talk to some of these other people. But I want the Trump Musk sequence to move further along because there's more to go yet. And I have been on Alex's show, of course, many, many times. And I've been on to challenge this whole Musk worship thing as well.
Yeah, and Alex agreed with you. I have that clip, but it wouldn't play earlier.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not what you're seeing. I don't know what's happened to Alex. I don't know what's gone in the background. I don't know who he might or may not be beholding to suddenly. But the sight of someone from the alternative media that was calling out power,
transhumanism,
globalism, was holding power to account. All right, he's always been of the right, and I just see left and right as the same, different wings on the same.
Well, he used to call out Bush back in the day. He was anti-Bush.
But now, and this is true of the mainstream of the alternative media in general that's been hijacked by these people, is they've gone from holding power to account to taking a position where they're a propaganda arm of a certain expression of power.
It's just hard for me to imagine Alex with his ego and with his life history and everything he's done, just somehow or another, just turning that all off. There's got to be some weird mental workaround he's done in his own mind. So
it could be a number of things, but all you can comment on is actually what you see, and there's nothing that Trump says, and there's nothing that Musk says that he doesn't immediately agree with and promote. Now, that is not an alternative journalist. It's not a journalist. What a journalist does is hold power to account, whatever form that power takes. It doesn't take sides. It takes the side of if you like, truth and integrity. That's a proper journalist. That's why we don't have them in the mainstream. But increasingly, we don't have them in the alternative media. We do, but not in that central core that gets all the promotion and all the algorithmic support. And to see Alex coming out in favor of things he once opposed just because Musk and Trump are saying them and promoting them is bizarre. Frankly,
Alex Jones, people, this man has fallen from grace. Terrible. Remember, you had that lawsuit where you had to pay out an astronomical amount of money. From there on, this guy, I don't know. Probably something is in his class that he has to. I don't know, people, but this man hasn't been the same since that I was Cindy Hook or whatsoever, that school shooting that took place, and he had to do what he had to do. From there on, Alex Jones hasn't been the same. Alex Jones was once my hero. From Monsanto days, from people, GMO days, this guy, and well, he's just sad. He's just sad. He's just sad how he's fallen, people, and David Icke is the only one people right now we can listen to thoroughly and intensively and say, yeah. I don't want them. I don't know.
And I call it out because it needs calling out. It's something that's so obviously an expression of a massive change that's gone on with the guy, and it's something that is indicative of what's happened to the alternative media. It's become overwhelmingly the propaganda arm of Trump and Musk ever since he was allowed to take over Twitter. I remember there was a Dutch activist called Eva van Dingenbroek who in 2022 did a video basically saying Elon Musk is not our friend, he's a transhumanist. And when he bought Twitter X, etc., suddenly she's become a Musk eulogizer. I mean, how can you do that? And this is the point about Musk being allowed to buy Twitter. What it's done is give him, who the reason that I knew that it was a scam when he bought Twitter is because I've been tracking the guy for years and years and years, because his companies were ticking every box of the World Economic Forum agenda that Klaus Schwab was articulating. And many of his public statements have done the same. So when he bought Twitter X, I thought, this is a scam, and we just got to see what form this scam takes. And what it has done is give his companies, SpaceX, all of them, a free ride. You've got a guy who's putting up through SpaceX these low orbit satellites that are generating this cloud to which humans are meant to be connected. You've got the same guy with Neuralink who's selling the brain chip bloody agenda. I mean, it's miles off. It's the Stone Age.
I mean, he's building Skynet, like I said before. Yeah, everything out of the Terminator movie, with the satellites, with the drones, with the robots, with the brain chips. I mean, it's Skynet.
And
he's not going to Mars. He's building Skynet.
Yeah, the point. Well, don't get me on the side on Mars, but the point.
Hey, keep talking. Just give me 1 second. Keep talking. I'm gonna put you on full screen.
The point being that the alternative media, because he's bought Twitter, has given him a free ride to do all this, and they're not calling him out. It's extraordinary. And if that was buying Twitter, they'd have been calling him out. Alex Jones was calling him out before all this started, and he transformed. And all I'm doing is consistently doing what I've done all along, which is call out power and call out bullshit, and call out where the agenda is being sold to different people in different ways. But now all you do is get vast amounts of abuse for doing what you've always been doing, and that's there's something gone on in the collective psyche of that mentality that's turned it into basically the very sheeple mentality that it once called out and condemned.
Well, while we're on that and the takeover of the media, now this one I didn't really agree with. I didn't really know what was going on, but I feel it'd be very interesting to bring up, and I may clip this out later too, just pre-warning. The Ian Carroll situation. Now, I personally, first time I ever saw Ian Carroll, I thought this guy is very talented. He's great. He's going places. He's going to be a big deal. I just sensed an extreme amount of charisma, talent, and also hard work from the guy. But so on the Joe Rogan thing, first of all, them calling you a grifter is completely ridiculous, because, or Joe Rogan saying grifter, more to the point, but then saying, oh, well, not David, but you bring it up when David's name's in the room. How can you be a grifter when you're not grifting? It's like you're going against all of the current grifts. So there's no money in disagreeing with Elon. There's no money in disagreeing with Trump. There's no money in disagreeing with Alex. There's no money in saying you don't follow any religion. There's no money being against all wars. So what is the grift, people? But that said, what was Ian Carroll said that you had called him out, or that you had started a beef with him? What was your beef with him? And then how do you respond to the things that Joe Rogan and he said about you?
Well, you know, my beef was that he was saying things, but missing out crucial bits of it. You know, he was,
for example,
he was also repeating stuff that's been around for a long time, as if it was somehow revelatory, you know.
Well, to be fair, he does admit that. He admits that I mean, personally, I think he's a younger guy that's in the TikTok world. He realizes that nobody's going to get this stuff until you package it into a 3-minute little clicky video. He knows the language of the kids. He speaks it fluently, and he's become hyper successful. But I don't think he's ever really gone around claiming that he doesn't stand on the shoulders. But go ahead.
Yeah, but the thing is that people will have to look at people like Ian Carroll and make a decision, make a judgment on whether they should be skeptical about what's happening, or whether they should just say, okay, he's all right. And the thing is that he is loved by the algorithm. I mean, he didn't even go on Twitter until 2023. Mm-hmm. He's loved by the algorithm, and that's a bit of a red flag, because those that are really challenging the system are not loved by the algorithm. And he gets tremendous promotion. People like Mike Flynn love him, and he gets on the Rogan show and gets massive promotion as a result of that. And people coming out and within the alternative media mainstream saying how wonderful he is and all that stuff. And you think, well, what's going on? I mean, I've been doing this for 35 years, just coming into the 36th. I've been researching it full time in that period. I've been to nearly, well, if not more than 60 countries doing the research. And I've never been on the Rogan show.
That makes no sense. I mean, but that is not necessarily Ian's fault. I really think people are drawn to Ian.
No, I'm not saying it's Ian's fault. What I'm saying is that he's had tremendous promotion, and people like Whitney Webb, who does very, very detailed research into this AI and into this whole reality of pushing the AI agenda, and she's never been on the Rogan show. But Rogan has had Peter Thiel on and given him a soft interview, who is orchestrating the AI. He's had Mark Andreessen on, who's doing the same. He's had Musk on, softball interviews. And then just before the election, he has Trump on and gives him a softball interview and allows him to lie through his teeth without being challenged. Like he said, he never said, hey, jail Hillary. He never was supported that. Well, actually, the videos exist to show that he did. And why aren't you calling that out, Joe Rogan? And it is a guy who is in any way a threat.
And not only that, he had another guy on. When I was researching the show, I was just looking up like David Icke reptilian stuff because I wanted to really get down what you thought about that. But it ended up Joe Rogan has other guys on there talking about reptilians, and they're like totally not even close to as OG as you are, the originator of this entire theory, and someone who in the alternative media landscape, it's becoming kind of glaringly obvious, Joe. Like if you're not gonna talk to one particular person, like, and you're just gonna like write him off, even though he was before you were. He was talking about mind control and AI before you were, and you're not going to bring him on. Why? Weird.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the point I've been making. It's not that I want to be on the Rogan show.
Well, you should be.
No, well, I should be on the basis of journalism, but it's not something that I want to be on the Rogan show because then everyone will see me. I'm just asking a simple journalistic question of why I haven't been, given my history, when so many other people have, many of whom are pushing the very agenda I'm challenging. My point about the whole Ian Carroll situation is that he has been on the Rogan show, having, by his own admission, been involved in this for, compared with me, 5 minutes, and yet I'm not allowed on. And the other thing that was kind of a bit of a head shaker is when Ian Carroll said on the Rogan interview, basically, David Icke, oh yeah, it's just said it's all the reptiles. Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's an element of it. And all the other stuff that I've talked about over 35 years and written about in the books is kind of dismissed by this kid who's been around 5 minutes as, oh, he just says it's all the reptiles. And then you've got Rogan, not just in this incident either, but with when he had Russell Brand on and what have you. is it just writes off the whole reptilian thing, and me as a result of that, when I've been researching this since the mid 1990s. I've been following modern and ancient accounts of these entities, and how they weave their way through history and weave their way through cultures. I've talked to whistleblowers in the military who've experienced face to face these entities in the underground bases. On and on and on and on it goes, and it's dismissed as, oh, he says it's all the reptiles. It's just
what is your magnum opus book on the reptiles? If Ian Carroll and actually look into it and research it and not poo-poo the concept, what would be the book that he would look into?
Well, I mean, my early book was The Biggest Secret. That came out in 1998. Then I followed it up with another one called Children of the Matrix in 2001. But the compendium book that pulls it all together, all the elements that I talk about, of which that is a part, not the whole, is everything you need to know but have never been told. And you know, he would probably learn a lot if he read that. I'm sure he hasn't.
I honestly think Ian is. I think he's innocent of this situation. I mean, I don't know if you know who I am, David. Did you ever know who I was before with this interview?
No.
You never saw my Hail Fauci speech when I.
Well, I probably did.
Yeah. Your son wanted to be in a band with me at the time. He said,
"Oh, right, okay, well, you must be good then."
Yeah. So, well, yeah, I was yelling and screaming at these bastards, and if I show you the clip, you'll probably guarantee remember it because you were in the scene. So okay. I did that. It went viral. It was literally on Colbert Report. It was on Trevor Noah. I won awards for being the biggest lunatic. I'm right up there with you, right?
Oh,
and I was
right,
like,
yeah.
yes,
well,
I'm the number one lunatic. No, I wanted to win, dude. They're like, who's the biggest lunatic? I'm like, please, I want to win. If I'm going to be on the list, I want to be the top lunatic, right?
Yeah.
So. But after that, you know, Alex Jones' crew reached out to me. I was on Alex Jones, and then I was on, you know, Stu Peters, and I was on all these other networks, and the TV was doing stuff about it. And, Saturday Night Live even did a skit about it. I mean, Snoop Dogg talked about it, and I can tell you, I am not juiced in. I've never made a penny out of any of this stuff, but sometimes something just flourishes, and there's a star power to people. Personally, I think, no offense, when Alex Jones, who just had Ian Carroll on, he knows Ian Carroll has a massive following of young people. And it's not that he's necessarily doing Ian Carroll a favor. He's trying to suck their audience over their way. So I think Ian Carroll, I really believe he is a very charismatic person. He knows how to put these things together. He admits he's not that big of a genius of it all. He always says, I'm just a dude, you know, but he hits, he connects. And I really think the connection is real. So I would hope that you guys could squash the problem. As for Joe Rogan, why? I mean, dude, what are you doing? Where the hell? Why is David not on? If Joe requested you be on, would you be on at this point? Would you even do it?
Yeah, I'd go on, but I mean, you've got to ask me first, and he's also got to explain why we're decades on from his podcast, and he's never. He's never asked. Not only that, I've met one or two people that's been on his show over the years, and they've said, "Have you never been on?" I know. That's ridiculous. I'll contact him. And then when I pointed this out maybe a couple of years ago, you know, this is a bit strange, isn't it? Because he was starting to have people on who are extraordinary, people like Brett Weinstein. So someone contacted us and said, I know the Rogan people. I'll give them a call. This is ridiculous. I never heard another thing. So there's a reason. I'd like to know what it is. That A, he dismisses me whenever my name comes up, and B, has never asked me on because I've done 35 years of research across a vast wave of range of subjects. And people who've been around for 5 minutes are suddenly on. People who are part of the agenda are given softball interviews. So why wouldn't someone like me be asking the questions, what's going on?
It makes no sense.
In terms of Ian Carroll, you know, it's not that. I mean, he put out a strange thing the other day after the Rogan interview, where he said, "Oh, David Icke hates me. I don't hate him. I don't hate anybody." You know what you?
I don't know. He said you were calling him out or something, that you were going
No,
off on him.
I was pointing out that he was supporting the election of Trump, and then complaining about what Trump was doing. He was saying that what Israel is doing is diabolical, and all the rest of it, while supporting a guy who is owned Donald Trump.
Well, you do realize he was originally for RFK, and he was actually part of the whole RFK thing, and he was pushing for, you know, against this type of stuff. And that, I don't know, maybe it was all part of the master plan. The RFK was there to bring in that to basically, they saw people like me that we were like, oh, well, RFK's good. And when he brought RFK in, he knew. Now, but I don't think Ian Carroll was like read into that level of it. I honestly believe that people, including myself, when they see Ian Carroll, they right away go, this guy is charismatic, he's interesting, he's funny, and they're drawn to him one way or another. But the
point being that none of us should complain about being questioned when we're telling people to question everything.
Right.
And you know, it's up to people to make their own judgments, not just on what's gone so far, but what's going to go on from here on. But which he wasn't doing for a long time. Yes, but at the same time, supporting a guy who is taking off all limitations on weapons being given, and that's a contradiction. And that should be open to being called out. But I don't hate the guy. I mean, you know, it's ridiculous.
I'd love to see you guys on together. I'd love to see him pick up one of your books and do a breakdown of your theories on there. And hopefully he wouldn't be offended if he did it. I contact him sometimes.
I wouldn't be offended, but you know, nor would it impact on me greatly, to be honest.
No, I just think it's interesting because he's like a gateway drug for kids. That the thing with the awakening, as you call it, is, and there is the go here and not so much further, but in reality, it ignites a passion in people to where once you start like uncovering the falsities and going past and seeing the conspiracies, in a way, you're like, well, you want more, you want to see further beyond the veil, and obviously they try to stop you, but I think he's a great gateway drug for younger kids and stuff like that actually start getting into the, wait a minute, what's going on here? Who's BlackRock then? You know, like, why are they controlling my shampoo? And they start wondering, you know, what's happening, and they start questioning like that. And I'm guilty too of getting caught up in the Trump situation, because basically I really feel like they've trained us in such a way like that people were happy. They're like, we're free when, or you're not locked in your house, or we're free when they're not chopping your kids' penises off. It's like they've taken the Overton window so far that it's like, hey guys, they're not chopping penises off anymore. Woo! They've lowered our expectations of what freedom is down to a point, and they threaten us with someone like Camel Toe Harris, and they have her out there like, oh, you want to deal with this for the next 4 years? And they just keep showing you all, oh, she's going to bring in transgender. She wants open borders. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. And you basically fight or flight, run to the other. I made that decision myself, and I basically did shill quite a bit for the Trump campaign, but it was all, no one paid me. I did it myself because I was so afraid of getting Kamala in and all of the BS that's been going on with what they're doing. So some of us are,
unless we move beyond this myopia of what the conspiracy is, then the conspiracy will go on and it will reach its conclusion. Because while, you know, you've got this massive support for Trump and Musk and all the rest of it, the agenda just goes on moving forward at an ever greater speed. And we've got to see that this conspiracy is at its foundation a conspiracy to convince us that we're in a world that we're not actually in, that we are experiencing a reality that we think is a certain type of reality, but actually is nothing like we appear to see it. Now we're experiencing it, because otherwise, unless that is addressed and that's understood, then what will happen in say Trump was a star and really believed what he says and all the rest of it, and Musk was a genuine, neither of which I strongly contend is true, but let's say they were, and then in 4 years' time, someone else comes in with a completely different set of policies. And so the whole thing just goes on and on and on and on, while people are, oh, yeah, who's going to win this time? Who's going to win this time? And at the same time, they're experiencing a reality that's not as they think it is. That's the level of the conspiracy, not Trump or Harris. But if you focus only on Trump and Harris, then you miss that. And that's the point I've been trying to get across. And it's amazing how much abuse you get when you try to do that. But I don't care. Because
I gotta say that you're literally the anti-grift grifter. I don't know how you're supposed to be grifting when you're against all grifts.
but I have children and I have grandchildren. And they're going to have to live. And then I look at all the other kids and grandkids. And that's what drives me on. I'm coming up to my 73rd birthday. You know, I could be retired and walked away. I don't have to take this shit and this abuse, but I take it and I do it, despite it, because I can see the kind of world that my kids and grandkids and other people's kids and grandkids are going to have to live in, and not just them too, but the vast majority of people that are still alive today are going to have to experience that world, and I don't want it to happen. I could walk away and leave them to it. I mean, how long have I got? 5 minutes or 10 years? I don't know. We'll see. But I could walk away now. I don't have to take this. I do, because I don't want people to live in a world that I know is coming unless we wake up fast to the greater picture and break out of this myopia that we've been manipulated into.
Now, this Elon situation with Donald Trump is so funny, people. Once best buddies appointed and task force this and cutting that and cutting this, slashing that, Dodge task force, now Trump talking about deportation and go back to South Africa and Epstein file and all type of shenanigans, people. All type of shenanigans, all type of... Hey, people, wow, this world, the state we're in this world, people, sometimes it's just so hard to even think about it. You know, it's just sad and depressing. Cause what kind of games do I pull off now? What kind of games these two are pulling off now? They fall for the Trump trick. Alex Jones, Elon Musk. Now they look like clowns. Clowns, this big beautiful bill pass, and let's see, people, what's in that big beautiful bill. Cause I don't really know what in there, people. To tell you the truth, I don't really know what in this big beautiful bill. I don't know, but let's see what it holds for humanity. Let's see, people. As these clowns continue their clown show. Let's see.